First on our agenda is a presentation by Discover the Palm Beaches. I'm happy to welcome Jorge Pesquera here. And if you'll go to the podium. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Honorable Commission.
So before we start, Jorge and I just saw each other a few days ago at the opening of the Downton Abbey exhibit. And if you haven't gone yet, I highly recommend. I've never seen the show. I'm not somebody who was addicted and watched it, but just going through the exhibit is fascinating. It's really excellent.
It really is first class. It's a world-class exhibit. It's actually a better layout from what I'm told by the organizers than what they had in New York, because they had more space to play with, and I think everybody should take a look. So
yeah, and as I said, there are a lot of mayors in other cities that are jealous of us right now, because
right.
We got their second, after New York, the second spot in the U.S. to exhibit this.
That's right. So, Mayor, again, thank you for the opportunity to share some of our success here. We're full of good news here. Well, we say that we're in the good news business, but more importantly, we're here to plant a seed, if you will, for what we believe could be a historically noteworthy and important transformational opportunity for the city of West Palm Beach, and more on that in just a minute. So I'm hoping I'm clicking here in the right place. Okay, so first the good news. We've had record visitation, job creation, and economic impact over the past 6 years. You see the numbers. It's almost 8 million visitors, 70,000 tourism jobs, and over $7 billion in economic impact. Now, visitation over the last 6 years has increased 61%. That's more than 10% per year. It is outpacing the state of Florida by 28 points. We know that the state of Florida, likes to boast about record visitation. Well, we've been outpacing them by a significant amount. And West Palm Beach has really played an important role in our success. But quite frankly, we believe that the best is yet to come. And why do visitors come here? Well, you have a lot of great assets here between City Place, the outlets, Antique Road, the zoo, Clematis, and so on. But one thing that is not on this chart, and something that we're going to do a lot more research about, is the number of people who are coming to West Palm Beach because a meeting planner or a president of a company said, you're going to West Palm Beach to a convention, a meeting, or some kind of an event. West Palm Beach gets about 40% of all meetings, attendees, or visitors to Palm Beach County, so you can realize that there's a significant opportunity right there.
We recently had an economic development study done as well, and they came up with the number of 59% of the visitors to Palm Beach County come to West Palm. So somewhere around that, between 40 and 59.
Yes. Well, and we shared a lot of our information with the Economic Development Study folks. But there are some opportunities that I think I'll point out in a second. You have a great inventory of hotel rooms. It's been expanding since 2005, 36 properties, 4,400 rooms. You see the list here. Boca is very close behind. It's only about 50 to 80 rooms behind West Palm Beach, so they have a significant inventory. And you have a lot coming in the pipeline with the 10 properties. You see them here. You know about them, the Canopy, the Autograph, and the others. But all of this is great stuff, but the size and the type of properties don't necessarily, and they're wonderful properties, don't get me wrong, bode well for some of the major initiatives from the meetings and conventions market side that we're going to talk about in a minute. So that's all good stuff. Now, this is one of the charts that I think we provided to the economic development folks, study.
That was it, yes, yeah. 51%.
So West Palm is getting the majority of the visitors, but in terms of overnight stays, actually Boca is somewhat ahead.
Yeah.
And that has to do with proximity to Miami, proximity to certain other things, a lot of corporate overnight business that is happening over there. So that's the kinds of things that I think this commission needs to think about, and what can we do in a collaborative way between the county and the city and the tourism development agencies to address the overnight visitation into West Palm Beach, which brings a lot of economic impact. So as I said, a transformational opportunity exists, and it has to do with groups. We've had a tremendous increase in group business over the last 4 years, 130% overall in the county, but more importantly, since the arrival of the Hilton West Palm Beach, a 560% increase in convention attendees or room nights related to the convention center. That's only with a 400-room hotel connected to the convention center. So you have what we think of as a beautiful blank canvas to paint a beautiful masterpiece in the future, because this is the convention campus. And it is the kind of, would be the envy of many other cities that don't have the kinds of space and opportunities to do things that are available here without having to tear down other buildings and take over parts of streets or roads or what have you. So we believe that West Palm Beach can truly become a meetings powerhouse, and that is our message. We have no doubt that increasing the capacity of the convention center, expanding the Hilton in West Palm Beach here, and getting another headquarter hotel in the vicinity, walkable or even connected to the convention center, is critically important and could really bode so well to put West Palm Beach on the map in the meetings and conventions market. So this is kind of the campus from a high-level point of view. The real campus is truly the area around the convention center. It is that couple of blocks between Parker and Dixie that really convention planners and convention organizers are looking for to make their decisions. We're competing with the world, we're competing with the San Antonios of the world and the Minneapolis, and we'll see a couple of examples later on. But connectivity, walkability, and the ease of moving their attendees and delegates around is critically important. So we see this, and there may be debates about this, a lot of different potential convention hotel sites. For us, the most logical, and we've had some conversations with the team here, is right on top of the convention center or to the side of the convention center next to Howard Park, because you already have the West Palm Beach Hilton and the opportunity to expand that in the future. But the creation of this campus is really what we are looking to do over the long term, 10, 15 years down the line.
So you're talking about a hotel in addition to a second Hilton?
Correct. Absolutely. And that is, in our opinion, absolutely fundamental for the long-term competitiveness of West Palm Beach as a meetings and convention destination. So the rationale for us is kind of evident. We have, as we're standing here today, turned away or lost 678,000 room nights, which is about $500 million in business. And that is because of mostly half of the reason is for a combination of lack of hotel inventory or lack of the right configuration of the convention center, whether it's not enough exhibit space, not enough ballroom space, not enough breakout space. That is the rationale or the reason for these lost room nights. So your own economic development study has pointed out the need for additional rooms. The TDC board in their discussions has said it's a no-brainer. And we have our own customer advisory board, and I know Chris Rug has been part of that and a couple of times. We're saying it's absolutely evident to us that if you build it, we will come. So what this could do is spur another $1 billion in development opportunities down the line by increasing the capacity. Right now, we're really hosting conventions of 500 to 1,000 attendees, and that's pushing the outer limits. When in September, October, there's nobody coming to South Florida. But we're like to double or even triple that in the future, and the opportunity definitely is there. This would align with the sales strategies of the Business Development Board and the own economic development objectives of the City of West Palm Beach. I know that you're targeting financial services, maritime, antiques, what have you. Bringing people aligned with those types of meetings to showcase the city was going to tell people in Milwaukee and Chicago and other places, why is my company not here in such a beautiful location? And of course, this will help the airport as well as generate additional tax revenues. Here's a couple of examples. We just had a wonderful tourism event just a couple of weeks ago. This is Indianapolis. They have expanded their convention center 5 times. and they've expanded their inventory of connected hotels to 12, and they're now considered the #1 convention city in the country. This is Avenida Houston. Houston has got the largest convention center, and they've now just completed a couple of 1,200-room hotels on either side of this convention facility in Houston, and they're really making a big jump in this marketplace. You've all seen probably the news about the Miami Convention Center just completed a 260,000 square foot expansion. They just approved last week an 800-room headquarter hotel, and they're moving quickly in the direction of expanding the Miami Beach and Miami downtown availability of convention facilities.
Excuse me, Jorge, we have a question. Commissioner Lambert?
Sure.
Thank you. I just had a clarification. What's a headquarter hotel?
A headquarter hotel is the hotel that the meeting organizer, the meeting planner, uses as the base of operation for their delegations. Okay. So they always have to have one hotel where it is listed, or two or three, depending on what that is listed on the convention information, as this is the hotels we have contracted with, because convention organizers need to contract a block of rooms way in advance so that those rooms would be available for the convention to happen in that location. So the Hilton West Palm Beach may give us 3 years down the line 250, 300 rooms, and that's the limitations that we're facing right now in terms of the type and the size of conventions that we're hosting here. Does that answer the question?
Sure, but what size is a typical headquarter? I guess it depends on the size of the...
Well, I mean, it's all over the place. I mean, if you go to Orlando, which is probably the first or second, depending on how you count, convention destination in the country, they have hotels of 1,500 rooms, 1,200 rooms. Las Vegas has hotels of 3,000 rooms, 2,500 rooms, the Venetian, the MGM, and so forth, that are almost self-contained cities and convention facilities. So that's kind of the range. But we believe that with the expansion of the Hilton West Palm Beach in the future, we hope, and the second headquarter hotel, we can amass about a 1,200 to 1,500 room campus of hotel rooms that can host conventions that would have 2,000 to 2,500 delegates at a time, whereas right now we're bringing 500 to 1,000 delegates at any one time. Broward just has announced a 800-room hotel. They are kind of taking it slowly. There are being changes in the configuration, but a 75% increase in exhibit space, and they are just down the street, and a fierce competitor of ours. And Tampa, more Florida destinations are betting on the convention market. Tampa has got a 3-year, $30 million capital improvement plan, and the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars has announced that he is privately, together with the city, developing a hotel and exhibit facility. So everybody's jumping in this, but we are convinced, based on what customers are telling us, this is not us making this up, that we have a unique opportunity to really capture the imagination of the meeting planning world. So our call to action to the City Commission is to further integrate tourism and meetings and conventions into your economic development strategy. Support the future. We're going to go out on an RFP pretty soon through the TDC for a convention center future and expansion study. We hope that that will provide additional rationale for collaboration between the city and the county on the expansion of the convention center and additional room inventory, and align the city with what would be the future tourism master plan, the master plan for tourism development. That would be a county-wide roadmap to grow the tourism industry in Palm Beach County. And with that, I'm done, and I'm open to questions.
Thank you. I was talking with the related folks over the weekend, and they're ready to go with that second hotel. Maybe you can help the county help that move along.
Absolutely. We're going to be engaging with the TDC executive director and having some discussions. Our senior VP of Destination Development is here, Don Colos, who has been very involved in the development of the RFP for the expansion of the convention center. So that's absolutely. If those discussions have been taking place in West Palm Beach, we'd certainly entertain having those as well.
So is that RFP out already, or?
It's not. It's not. It's really in the TDC hands now, and we expect it to be out in the near term.
Commissioner Ryan?
Thank you. Good morning, Jorge.
Good morning.
It's great to see your presentation at the Was it at the convention center, or no, it was the Kravis
Yeah,
Center?
at the Kravis Center,
Yes,
yes.
it was wonderful.
Yes.
So your RFP, are you looking at the expansion of the convention center to go, what, another 100,000 square feet or greater?
We are looking for the consultants to tell us what they believe the vision for the future of the convention center campus should be. And within that, we are looking for an idea of what size the expansion should be. Many convention centers doubled their size when they expand because the opportunity is there, and doing it piecemeal is a lot more costly. There's a significant parcel of land behind the convention center that is now surface parking, and there's plenty of parking in the building next door. So that's part of what we're looking to find out from the consultants.
Thank you. And just to put it into context, every year I go to the League of Cities conference, and it's either in Fort Lauderdale or Orlando, and I've asked why they don't come here, and it's because we don't have enough to accommodate 1,000 attendees. So that is just, clear to me that we need to expand.
That is a perfect example, Commissioner, because 1,000 attendee convention is a small convention. I mean, Las Vegas is hosting conventions of 40, 50, 70,000 attendees.
And I don't
of
think
course,
anybody sees us being at that level.
Absolutely. we do not want to be Las Vegas. That is
Thank you.
not what we
Thank
want to
you.
be in the future, believe me. But in the second to third tier city marketplace, the Savannas of the world, the Long Beach, Californias of the world, the Fort Worth, Texas of the world, these are the cities who have really developed a very methodical, thoughtful approach to developing their convention infrastructure, and have been very successful at capturing a significant portion of the market. And once again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but between the TDC commentaries that we have heard, what our own customers are telling us, they see West Palm Beach, proximity to the water, proximity to an airport, proximity to a rail, the size, the walkability, the beauty of the place itself, as fundamental and tremendous assets to move forward with such a strategy. So I look forward to engaging with the Commission in the future and keeping you informed of what the RFP, when it comes out, and your support would be.
Thank you.
Very
Well,
helpful.
I'm certainly pleased to hear you talk about walkability, and that's one of the things that attracts conventioners to a city.
Absolutely.
They can walk across the street and go to a place like City Place, and as City Place is doing their renovations, it's going to be more and more attractive. Walk down to the train station, hop on, hop off, go where they need to go. So I'm glad that you're talking about that.
Cultural assets, the Norton
Absolutely.
renovation, all of these things. I mean, we've taken 15, 17 meeting planners around to showcase the
Sure.
city. And they say, wow, I mean, why haven't we been here before? And they have already, the participants in our customer advisory board have already booked 40,000 room nights of meetings into West Palm Beach. So that tells you what the conviction that they have, that this is truly an opportunity down the line.
Right. Any other questions for Jorge? Commissioner Schoaf?
Thank you, Mayor. Just as we're looking at the capacity planning for this, you mentioned there were 678,000 room nights that we missed. Can you speak a little bit to how that's calculated and if there are certain citywide events that contribute to that? And then also, as things are moving forward, how we're capacity planning for more convention space and how maybe other cities do in that, I think it's great to have more space, but as society changes, like we're seeing in retail, we have these really big spaces.
Sure.
Do we have an opportunity now to start to plan for that, so if convention changes in the future, that we have flexible space?
Well, there was a lot of talk for many years that, conventions were going to disappear because, of all the telecommunications capabilities and the new technologies that are available. That hasn't happened. The fact of the matter is people still want to meet face-to-face. Face-to-face interaction, what are called business events, are here to stay. And in fact, the projections into the future is that this is a growing industry. It is a huge industry across the country. So to your question, we we don't handle all of the meetings and events that come into Palm Beach County. The Boca Raton Resort, the Breakers, the Old Palm Beach, and all of these properties book their own business directly through meeting planner relations. We influence a lot because we are out there in the marketplace, and we do book ourselves through our efforts about 250,000 room nights every year. So the way we calculate this is that we have instructed our sales team of 7 or 8 folks to ask the question, why did we lose this piece of business? What is it about your decision-making process that prompted you to choose Phoenix, Arizona versus what we have? And it's either price, it's either hotel availability, it's either flight availability, there's a whole host of reasons, but 2 that contribute over half of that number are lack of hotel inventory and the configuration of the convention center and the space of the convention center. So yes, we're convinced that those 2 factors combined, if we address them through a thoughtful process with the right consultants, are the way to go to grow the business in West Palm.
Great. Well, thank you so much for the presentation. We're really happy to have you. Anytime you want to come back, just let us know.
Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you for the great work that you do.